I want to welcome everybody to our Thursday evening Lifewave Dream Team call. And tonight we're going to be talking about, of course, the Lifewave patches. We've been doing our series of all the different patches that Lifewave has. And tonight we're going to be talking about our Carnosine patch, which is really kind of like, it's a little bit of a sleeper until you really start realizing how important this patch can be. And tonight I'm my co-host, Dr. Nicholas from Scottsdale, Arizona. And, Dr. Nicholas and Dr. Jones started line muted Lifewave. It's about 6 years ago, and when they first got started, Dr. Jones was having some issues that she wanted to work with, and they got Suzanne Summers' book and ordered a diamond package, and then they just started patching and didn't know how to do it. They did the wallpaper patching effect and started seeing some amazing results, and then started working with their patients. They have one of the most successful networked chiropractic clinics in the U.S. and literally hundreds of patients. So they have an opportunity to work with so many different patients and so many people in the beginning, and just saw such great results that after a couple of years they decided to sell their clinic and Lifewave full time. So we're so blessed to have them as part of our team. And so, Dr. Nicholas, welcome to the call. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Randy, I'm doing great. Thanks for being here, and I'm glad to be here too as well. Can you hear me okay?
Hey, I can hear you loud and clear. So maybe you can start off by talking a little bit about, what Lifewave patches, how they work, and explain to a brand new person really about them, and then maybe we can get into the Carnosine. And then if there's some people that have a great testimonial from the Carnosine, we'll open it up for some of our people then. So go ahead, Dr. Nicholas.
Sure, I'd be happy to, Randy. And I actually have a great story just to share about the Carnosine patch that actually I just had from a report from a doctor and their patient this week, so I'll share that as well. But for those of you that are new to the call, the patch is basically, it's a non-transdermal patch. It looks like a size of a quarter Band-Aid, and it emits light into the body. So when I say non-transdermal, that means nothing's entering your body. So most people think, well, it's a patch like you can get anywhere, like the drugstore. Well, these patches don't put anything in the body, and what's inside of the patch is an organic-based amino acid, sugar, and water that formulate into these tiny nano-sized crystals. So under a microscope, if you looked at it, you'd see it looks like a sugar or a salt crystal. And they hold a frequency that they're kind of like pre-programmed. And the body heat, the electrical field of the body heat, is what activates the materials to turn them on to start emitting a very specific bandwidth of light back into the body. The cell picks up the light and creates a very specific physiological chemical reaction within the body. So it's more of a energy medicine science concept, and why we were able to kind of wrap our brain around it 6 years ago is we were using a very high dollar, very expensive cold laser, and these things did something similar with a different bandwidth of light with different frequencies in it to help the body to stimulate pain reduction and healing. So that's how we got involved in terms of the little bit of history Randy shared with us. So that's the patch and how they work. And so what we're going to talk about tonight is one of the patches. We've been talking about 5 of them the last 5 weeks. Tonight's the fifth patch tonight is the sister patch. And the patches are the Y-Age anti-aging system. And last week we talked about the glutathione patch, and this week we're talking about Carnosine. And Carnosine is a very, very powerful antioxidant that we need in the body to help promote healing. And one of the coolest, most exciting stories I remember when we first got involved was, it was back to probably 5.5 years ago, and we were involved, and we had a lot of success with the patches. And And the company was watching, seeing how, we were helping so many people that they asked if they could come out and help and support us and present the company and the products. And we had, David Schmidt come out, and he was explaining anti-aging patch technology at that time for us, and he was sharing with us a really interesting story that I won't ever forget, and this is what's very important about the Carnosine patch. And if you Google this word, HAY, H-A-Y, Flick, F-L-I-C-K, Limited, there is very important information about how we age and what this process does. And what they found with using the Carnosine patch from the benefits for anti-aging purposes. So what he said was, after the age of 70, we no longer make new healthy cells. And so this is how we start to age every year, like 10 years after the age of 70. And what they were showing was, when you're using this antioxidant in the body, that you continue on to make new healthy cells. And that was what was so powerful about the Carnosine patch. And the other thing was, they said, well, say you start using the Carnosine patch after the age of 70, the other benefit was, okay, you're no longer making new cells to increase and prolong that lifespan of the cell reproduction. You help maintain the longevity of the cells that you have. So what the Carnosine patch is doing is, and one thing specifically is, it's rebuilding, repairing, maintaining the integrity of a healthy cell, which is really, really important, because that's how we're made of as cells. And that's every tissue of the body. It's a cell on top of a cell on top of a cell. For every organ, muscle, tissue, fascia, skin, it's a cell. And so the Carnosine patch is a rebuilding of that. So when I looked up some of the information on the Carnosine patch, I was really excited, because it's something that, we overlook and don't really pay attention to. The Carnosine patch has a powerful benefits like the glutathione patch, but in a different pathway. So they did studies on the Carnosine patch, and one of the biggest things that it does is, in terms of like how they did the study on the 8 major organs and the physiological effects to the body, was they found that there was a 95% improvement on the pancreas and the pituitary gland. And so the pancreas, obviously, for people who have blood sugar issues or disease conditions associated with diabetes, are going to get a really powerful healing benefit to those organs. And so that's what was so significant about how this patch enhanced those things. And we are not diagnosing or treating any disease or condition. We're just saying, when you use Carnosine as an antioxidant, it's going to help repair tissue damage and help restore organ function. And the other organs that were getting extremely powerful benefits that they were showing were the kidneys, the liver, the adrenal glands, hypothalamus, and thyroid. But the ones that had the biggest change, which was the largest, was the pancreas and the hypothalamus. So that was something I thought was really, something significant that I wanted to share tonight for study purposes and then the benefits. So my story now, that I had a doctor tell me this week that had a patient that had some really significant autoimmune diseases, and this particular disorder is called birdshot eye disease. It's called chorioretinitis, which means that the immune system is basically altered. So there's an autoimmune disease where it's attacking the retina of the eye. And so they were saying, what would you do and how would you use the patches to help the body to, reverse, combat, address this kind of condition? And so what we'd found in the past was significant was, put the patches over your eyes while you sleep. But no matter where you put them, there's a systemic effect. There's a healing effect to the body. So just out of the basic placements that comes in the brochures and the booklet, I said wear them on those points, rotate them through, wear the glutathione, the Carnosine, and neon every single day. But at night, wear the Carnosine patches, one on each eye while you sleep. And so this is the program that we started, and this patient did this, and she reported back just this week that she went to her optometrist, because there's a there's a way to measure how this disease condition is being affected to the retina, and it has a certain scale. And the optometrist said, I don't know what you are doing, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Your score is completely normal. And so what that's saying is this lady's eye disease condition to the inflammation of the retina was reversing and restoring her eyesight. And she is legally blinded to a point where she cannot drive at night. She can drive only during the day when there's really good light to help be able to see. And so this was an extremely huge, significant healing response to how the Carnosine patch helps to restore tissue repair in that sense, even though she was getting the benefit of the glutathione and the Eon as well. But since the call tonight's about the Carnosine patch, and I wanted to share that story, Randy. So, but what's really significant also is Carnosine is a muscle rebuilding patch, and we're made of muscle, we're made of cells, and the large organs of the body is significantly for rebuilding is the heart, because the heart's a muscle. So this is why Carnosine is so important for rebuilding and tissue repair. And also there's clinical studies that have shown how the Carnosine patch also helps to restore cognitive function, which is memory. So they're showing that it actually helps restore memory loss. It's been really significant for kids with any kind of mental disorders sort of thing, and associated with autism, that sort of thing, that they're seeing huge healing improvements with the Carnosine patch. And what we found is we just stick it on the forehead, and inevitably people start having really significant changes because you're putting it right over the area that's the biggest, having the biggest problem. So you're putting it over that area, and you're getting these kind of healing responses. So again, no matter where you put it, the body has a full systemic response. It just seems to be more dramatic over the area of concern. So that's what I want to report back to you, Randy, on the great stories and that I've seen so far, and just excited to share that. So, but again, we're not treating the disease. Just to reiterate that, we're only saying here's how the antioxidant helps to build the body back up and restore, its natural, normal functions. So, Randy, that's what I had for you on the Carnosine patch. So there you go.
All right. Well, great job, Dr. Nicholas. That's fantastic. And, when you really start using this product and understand what it can do, it is phenomenal. And I guess, the one thing that, we talked about the glutathione last week being able to be used. So if you're using the Lifewave to help reduce pain for people, sometimes doing the stacking technique, and maybe you can just touch on that, and with the Carnosine and maybe the glutathione, just to give people just a little bit more ideas to, how to help reduce people's pain.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I'd be happy to. So what we had found is when we started using the Lifewave patches, and like we're talking about mixing, matching combinations, we started seeing that there was an increase in pain reduction, but also healing and recovery. And so we used Lifewave, glutathione, and Eon. So if you ordered any of the starter kits, they started to customize the kit so people could basically say, well, I don't know what I need, so they now make it a pain management kit or an anti-aging kit or a sleep kit. And they put a variety of patches that are significant to help you get the results. So, and if you look at the gold kit, it'll actually have 5 packs of the Lifewave, 3 packs of glutathione, 3 packs of the Eon, a pack of Carnosine, and a pack of sleep. And so what we're talking about is we're seeing that if you have like an injury for pain reduction, or pain, so to speak, like a muscle tear, or, there's a surgery or something like that, you're going to find that when you use Lifewave and you apply the Carnosine patch and then the Eon, there is a bigger pain reduction response as opposed to using the glutathione. And the reason is that the Carnosine is a tissue repairing patch, and it accelerates wound healing. It's going to help with pain reduction in that sense when you're dealing with muscle, scar tissue, or wound healing and terms of like surgeries, that sort of thing. So that's where, Randy's talking about, how would you use these and why with this stacking protocol. And what we're talking about is you're actually applying the pain patch first, getting a pain response for healing, then applying the Carnosine over the top of the pain patch for the tissue repair, for the scar or the injury, the tear, and then you add the Eon on top of it for the inflammation reduction or the stress reduction, and now there's a synergistic compounding effect for healing, pain reduction, and increasing recovery, and now we're getting accelerated healing for people with whatever condition that may be. So that's what Randy was quoting on that. So does that answer your question on that, Randy?
It does. Great job. Thanks, Dr. Nicholas. And so what we can do now is I would suggest if anybody's got a great Carnosine testimonial, that would be great. If you want to just set a 4-star, I do believe it will bring you on to this. So if you hit 4-star, if you have a great testimonial you'd like to share. No? All right. Well, I know people have had trouble in the past trying to...
Randy?
Yes, hi.
Hey, Randy. Hi. It's Dr. Vince in Colorado.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, and we have finally warm weather here, which we are so grateful for, but it went from like the 50s to the 80s. That's kind of shocking, too, but I have a couple of things that I could share that are pretty significant about the Carnosine. Let's see. One of them, I'm sitting here in my office tonight late, and my office partner next door had surgery a while back, and she was in the hospital. She had it was an arthroscopic surgery, and there were incisions on both sides. It was ovarian cysts that were being removed. And I drove to visit her to see how she was doing, and she was in some pain, and we did some pain patching. But the thing that really lit up was, here are these incisions to heal. So I said to her, okay, it was on both sides. I said, let's check this out. Let's put the Carnosine on one side and see if it heals more quickly than the other side. And man, wouldn't you know, it healed so much faster, even within the next day or two. It was so remarkably better than the opposite side that I said, we can't wait for the doctor. We're just going to patch both sides. And I did a whole bunch of Carnosine patches. She kept patching. And by the time the doctor saw her, which was like a week and a half later, the doctor was in absolute disbelief that it had healed so remarkably and so quickly. And she was pretty surprised, too. So that was a really, really great story for her. She's kind of new to the patches, so that was a good one. And then recently we had a dog that we patched that I shared that on the other call, but I patched a dog when I was in Utah working there, and the dog had been kind of dragging one leg up the stairs, and it had a torn muscle in its kind of ACL area in its back leg. And so I did the pain patches, but I also applied the Carnosine. Just as Dr. Nicholas said, we put the Carnosine instead of glutathione with 2 isolated Carnosine and two isolated Carnosine and an Eon patch. And within just a few hours, that dog was bounding up the stairs. It was absolutely remarkable. So that was a very rapid response, and I think animals do respond rapidly. And we're going to follow up with a similar protocol with that puppy dog and see if we can't get him to recover, healed. We'll get him healed. And, one of the things I check in with Dr. Nicholas a lot, and he has mentioned that over and over, people have been able to heal tears and muscles and ligaments with this protocol. So, hey, that's life-changing for people who don't have to have a surgery. So that was my little bit of sharing. Great.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Linda. That's fantastic. And, you bring up a great point there is, the Lifewave patches don't only work for us, they also work for our favorite four-legged friends. And, it's been over 9 years since the first time I patched my dog, Kia, and totally changed her life. And that's when we started realizing that, let's start using these on animals. So we've used them on horses, dogs, cats, birds. I mean, we've seen, just so many. I've even heard of ferrets. So, if you have a favorite four-legged friend, to start using these patches, and not just the Carnosine, but all of the patches, and you will see just remarkable results. So we can take one more testimonial if there's somebody else that would like to just hit 4-star, and that should unmute you, and then you can just give us your story.
Hi, Randy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who's that?
Hey, my name is Julie, and I'm from Southern California, and I also have a skin story that has happened within the last, I would say 6 weeks. I did a stacking technique on a little skin cyst that was starting to enlarge on my shoulder. It wasn't any kind of a malignancy or anything, but I put a Carnosine, a glutathione, and then an Eon on top, and within a couple of days, the cyst broke open, and then within a week, the cyst was gone. And it was really, really remarkable for me. So I tend to do that. I'm a fair-haired person.
Wow, what a great story. And that is, again, just, when you have certain issues or situations that you're wondering if these patches will work for all it is, it's a matter of just experimenting. So great work and great story. Thanks for sharing that. All right. Tell you what, I think, we usually try and keep these calls down to 20 or 25 minutes. And, what I'd like to say is, if you haven't tried these patches yet, get back to the person that invited you onto this call and just try the packages. Try one of the packages. What we recommend is getting one of the variety packs in the beginning, and it can be either the silver or gold or platinum or diamond, and get all of the different types of patches and start using them and just start experimenting, because when you try these patches, these are life-changing. And, the nice thing is Lifewave offer a money-back guarantee, so, you can try them risk-free. If you don't see something, you can at least get your money back. What we find is if people actually get in and experiment with all of the patches in the first 30 days, people want to keep using these patches. So that's what we recommend. So get back to the person who invited you on this call, try the patches, and and you'll see start getting the type of results that we've all been getting for years here. So next week, Dr. Nicholas, what are we going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we'll be talking about the Eon patch, and then what we would like to do is just kind of tie them all together, kind of like a closing of the Eon patch with the other two, Carnosine and glutathione, as the YH system. So I think that's how we'll kind of tie them all up and go from there.
Perfect. All right. Well, that sounds great. So the Eon patch is the patch that literally brings it all together for all of the other patches as well. So this is going to be a great call. So, make sure that you invite, if you've got people that want to just learn more about the patches, invite them onto one of these calls, and especially next week, the Eon call will be a great one. So with that, I want to thank everybody, Dr. Nicholas, Dr. Joan for helping out here, Dr. Linda, and I think it was Julie for getting on and just sharing your stories, and really look forward to having everybody on our call next week. In the meantime, have a fantastic week, and we'll talk next Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. This is Randy Hood signing off. Talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye, Randy.